Everyone, Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're doing another complete before and after house flip video, and we have a new contractor we brought on for this job. So Irely, are you going to project manage or are you going to build everything? What do you think? Which one? We'll see. Anyway, I'm on dad duty. Well, I'm always on dad duty, but on special dad duty, my wife and my daughter Kaya went on a short trip to Disneyland for a couple days. And so Brecken, my son, and Irely are hanging out for a couple days together. But this video is a house that we did minimal work on. Kind of a neat house, old 50s property, and had hardwood floors. So we refinished that, painted, did some very minor stuff. And we show how to do a flip without having to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 remodeling it and still make money. So I like these properties. It didn't sell for as much as we hoped it would, but it was still a good flip, still made us money, and I'd do it over again in a heartbeat. So let's check out what the property first looked like. Bought this from a wholesaler, and then here it is after the people moved out and we bought it. All right, can you smile? Yay! All right, so we bought this one for $240,000 from a wholesaler. Needs $25,000 in work. Have another $20,000 in carrying costs, financing costs, and selling costs. I'm an agent, so I save money listing the house. And then we're thinking ARV, or after repaired value, will be about $320,000 on this one. The outside's in really good shape. Have to stain this deck, but that's easy. Has vinyl siding, which I don't really like, but it's in good shape. The reason I don't like vinyl siding is you can't really paint it, and if it gets damaged, you might be able to find the same color, but the vinyl color fades over time from the sun. So even if you find the right color, it probably won't match. So I prefer siding you can paint over vinyl for those reasons. All right. Like I said, it's kind of a cool floor plan. Not your normal cookie cutter ranch. Here's the living room. Good size room. Has a fireplace, bay window, hardwood floors throughout. The windows are all in fairly decent shape. I don't think we'll have to replace those. We'll see. It's got 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom upstairs. Here's one of those bedrooms. And they're good sized rooms too. Giant vent that goes straight down to the family room. I don't know why they did that, but it's there. We may replace the doors. Whoops. Giant hanger I ran into. Here's the bathroom, which again, you know, you don't see the big giant vanities in a lot of these houses like that. Bathroom and the shower, which probably was a bathtub at one time. We may have to turn that back into a bathtub, appeal to more buyers. That's a little strange having your electrical panel in the hallway, but it's updated, which is fantastic. And then here is kind of the master bedroom, a little bigger than the other ones. They did put carpet in here, but I don't think the hardwood goes through in here. You can kind of see the carpet is lower. So this would have to be carpet unless we decide to add hardwood. Although, if you look right there, the carpet or the hardwood in that room is lower. So maybe they did carpet over hardwood. That would be awesome. Here's the 3rd bedroom up here. Of course, we'll paint everything. They left us a few things, but not too much. And the hardwood does need refinished, but it's in fairly good shape, so it should be pretty easy to do. It's got lots of cool built-ins. That's why I like these houses as well. You don't see that too much anymore. And then the kitchen, which could be nicer. The cabinets aren't horrible. They're oak, which is not my favorite. We might be able to keep them, change the hardware, definitely change the counters, definitely change the appliances. We'll have to decide on that. And it is kind of funky. They had a cutout just for the fridge, which is actually really nice. it makes it much more open, but you wonder how much that cost them when they built it to have that little cutout just for the fridge. Kind of cool. All right, we'll take a look downstairs. That, I'm guessing, was the old electric, maybe in fuse box, and they just kind of left it there and put a panel in. But thankfully, it's been updated. This was another surprise. This is a giant gun safe, which they carpeted around. So that's not dirty carpet and clean carpet. That's two completely different types of carpet, and they just carpeted around this because they didn't want to move it. And obviously, they didn't want to move it when they left because it's extremely heavy, and they were kind enough to leave us a combination, and it even works. So I don't know what that's worth, but that's an expensive gun safe, so that's kind of cool. I'm sure, I don't know if I could use it, but I'll know somebody who can put it in a good home. Here is the utility room. Good size laundry room. That is a freezer. I have learned over the years, one of my steadfast rules, do not open those freezers. I let my contractors open them. I don't touch them. The last time actually, I don't think we opened it. Some of our contractors opened one of those. Is in the country. It was full of like deer meat. They had been sitting in there probably for a few months with no power. So they weren't real happy when they opened it, and I warned them. I said, don't open that, and they did it anyway. But that's one of the rules you learn. Don't open stuff like that. Here's the furnace, which is fairly new. That's great. And the hot water heater. Yes, I said hot water heater. There's a really cool video going around about why it's okay to say hot water heater and not just water heater. So watch that if you're going to be the language police and tell me it's a water heater and not a hot water heater. All right. Here is just an office right here. Nothing too fancy. No window, so you could not make that a bedroom. And then we head back this way. Big family room. Wood burning stove. And there's that vent. Both bedrooms have it. I guess just to make it heat easier, they did that. Kind of weird, but that's okay. So good sized room. And then we have another bedroom right here. Has an egress window. It's not quite as big as it should be per current code. However, I mentioned things being grandfathered in. That means if it was installed at the time that code said that was okay, you can still keep it that way. And that's big enough to get out of. Should be fairly safe. So we'll probably leave that and not install a much bigger one. All right. Here is the other bathroom, which we'll probably do a little bit of work in here. I don't know how much. It's not like in horrible shape, but it's not amazing. Sometimes I like to pretend things are retro and cool so we can save money repairing them, and I don't know if that qualifies or not. You'll have to let me know. All right, so we'll head upstairs. And by the way, I was thinking earlier, this is probably one of my favorite things to do, is walk through the house right after I first buy it. Like, I haven't seen this property probably for 6 weeks. This is my first time seeing it, so it's kind of a surprise. You know, I don't always remember exactly what they look like or knowing how they'll leave it for us, but I almost like seeing them for the first time after we buy it more than after we fix them up. And then another really cool feature is the garage. Oversized 2-car garage. You can see right here. Lots of storage, more built-ins. And this house does not have a murder room. I joke about that. Just a running joke in my videos that most of my properties seem to have a dark, dingy basement room. This one doesn't have one of those, but it kind of has a murder closet, so we'll count that. Buying 4 in the next 2 weeks. So quite a few new ones coming up here that we'll have videos of, and a few that will be done here too. I know I've been promising that for a while, but eventually we'll get them done. There's one constant in repairing houses. It's that everything takes longer than you think it will. All right, so these floors were already here when we bought the property, but we painted everything. Like I said, we're gonna refinish these floors. They're almost good enough to without, but there's some spots you can see that are worn, and in the other rooms as well. Didn't do anything with the fireplace. Don't have to do anything crazy. We can let the new homers do that. And then we'll show you the kitchen, which had kind of a 90s, 80s, 70s mix. And what we did is kept the cabinets, put on new hardware. We're gonna put in new appliances, which aren't here yet. But this was a super ugly laminate. Was it orange? I can't remember what color it was. Reddish orange. And we painted it. So there's paint they make for countertops. And from far away, it almost looks like a solid surface counter. It's awesome. And you can see, you know, we still have the old cutting board that was here from 30 or 40 years ago. We didn't have to disturb the tile. Didn't have to do any of the backsplash. Didn't have to risk, you know, the cabinets falling apart when we tear off the counters. So that saved us a ton of money by doing that. And in our market, houses don't have to be perfect to sell. This will be just fine as it is to sell in that price range. So that was one way we saved a lot of money, and I'll show you as well going into the bedrooms. This will all be refinished hardwood. This bathroom, we did the same thing. It had super old laminate, and we painted it with the counter paint, and it looks really good. And, you know, think, oh, it'd be cheap to put in a new vanity. Well, not a vanity that's gigantic, like that, and 8 feet long with double sinks. Those get very expensive, so this saved us a lot of money. And we also, whoop, door got in the way. We need to touch up some of that stuff. But we left the shower as it is, replaced the towel bars, which were old and rusty, and that's all we did. So again, flipping houses is not always about replacing everything, but replacing the things that really need it and saving the stuff that doesn't. Of course, we kept the cool toothbrush flipper outer thing. Was not going to let anybody get rid of that. This bedroom as well, you know, hardwood. We painted the doors. We did not get new doors. That saves us money. This bedroom as well. Well, needs a hardwood, you can see. It's not horrible, but it'll really look great once it's done. And this is kind of the master here, which did not have hardwood. It just had subfloor, so we just put carpet in that. And again, I mean, you could spend way more money putting brand new hardwood in, but then it's probably not going to match the old stuff. It might look weird, and it won't make the house sell for anymore in most cases. All right, we'll go to the basement. Which again, did not do much down here either. We even kept the cool wallpaper. We did put in carpet. As you can see, there was a giant gun safe right here, and I don't think I showed it in the video. Maybe I did. Once we moved it, they had carpeted around the safe because it was so heavy they didn't even want to move it to put in carpet. They cut out the carpet, left the old carpet, carpeted around it. So we moved it. Actually, Nikki's husband took it, so he has a cool new safe now. We put in the carpet. In the laundry room, you know, nothing crazy, but we did paint the floor, which I think helps a lot, cleans it up. This cabinet, we left, touched it up a little bit. You know, this is not sheetrock, it's kind of like a wood panel, but again, it doesn't look bad once it's painted. If you're in here, you can hardly notice it, so no reason to replace it. This bathroom, same thing, painted the vanity, the counters, added a mirror, And I know it was one question I asked before. In the before video, I'll link to that. But whether to save this bath tile or not, we did, as you can see. And that saves, it's what, $1,000, $1,500 in savings right there by saving that instead of tearing it all out and redoing it. That's a big deal. And it's a basement bathroom. Some people might even like it. Most people won't think it's a big deal. So we left it. And then 4th bedroom right here. This house is one of the few that we haven't had to put a roof on lately, so that was really nice. Has vinyl siding, so we didn't have to do really anything on the outside except really minor touch-up paint. Trim the trees back a little bit, but really not much outside. We did paint this deck, so it didn't have peeling paint everywhere. But most of the work was inside. You can see the hard was already here. We just refinished it, painted. It already had newer windows. And I really love flips like this where we don't have to do much work. I keep saying that over and over again. You know, the ones that have huge profit potential and all this room, but need, you know, a ton of work, always look so good on paper. But in the end, it takes so long and you run into so many problems. They usually don't make nearly as much money as the easy ones. Oh, our contractor left the toilet lit. That's one of our pet peeves. And in here, we left this shower, replaced the bars, and did really simple minor repairs, so we're not tearing out the whole thing and spending thousands of dollars. On this counter, we did the new countertop paint. Well, it's not new, it's been around for a while. From Home Depot have paint made specifically for laminate counters, so we don't have to tear out this entire vanity, which is a huge size, and we can never find again, so you pretty much have to custom make it. Saves us tons of money. Here's the cool, I've shown this a few times, from the 50s, 60s, the cool toothbrush dispenser. You know, we saved the doors, we just painted them white. That's something, you know, you can replace the doors, but a lot of times it doesn't make a big difference unless they're just really beat up and broken. And this bedroom is the one room that didn't have hardwood, so we just put carpet in there. So we bought this from a wholesaler, and there are actually a few other investors looking at it, and they did not want it. So for whatever reason, they did not see the ease in this deal, although there was a lady living here with lots of stuff, and it was very dirty. We'll show link to the before video. So it's not always easy to see what the house can look like when there's people in it. It does have a pocket door right here that I think they just painted, and it's kind of sticky. I don't want to pull it open too much right now, but that's kind of cool. And the kitchen, here's another spot where we saved a lot of money. It had, oh, they didn't. See, it had the orange countertops before, and I saw that before. Our contractors didn't come back. But anyway, we did that same laminate paint again, and it's awesome. Like, it looks so much better with almost no work. We have to put a hood in still. That's in back order because it's a weird size. So that's coming, but we don't have to tear out the backsplash. We don't have to worry about the cabinets falling apart when you tear off the counters because you never know how they're attached. We can leave the cool little cutting board. Boy, that light switch looks really ugly. We should change those up. But anyway, all we did is change the hardware on the cabinets, cleaned them up, and painted the counters. And of course, new appliances. And just makes it look so much better and saves us $7,000–8,000 in remodeling costs. So, love that. Downstairs, new carpet. There's a huge safe down here, and they had carpeted around the safe because it literally weighed like 600 pounds, and Nikki's husband took it, my project manager. So that went to a good home. You know, just cleaned up the little built-ins, which are kind of cool. Painted. Not a whole lot going on down here, which again is nice. Here's another bedroom. And the bathroom is right here, where again, like, hey, we could gut this bathroom, completely redo it, and spend $3,000, or we can leave it as it is. It's not the prettiest tile, but it's not bad. It's in good shape, it's clean, and whoever buys it probably isn't going to bother them that a house this age has that kind of tile. So we left that there. We have one of the nicer laundry rooms we've ever done. We cleaned it up, painted the floor, and really good size. People ask me too if we leave the washer and dryer or not. If they work, if they're in decent shape, we leave them. Otherwise, we don't. There's no need to provide them. It's not common to provide them. Here it's kind of a bonus for buyers. So if they're here and they're decent, we leave them. If they're not here, if they're ugly, we'll take them out. There's the water heater, furnace, all that checked out to be just fine, which is awesome. No expense there. And then the little office, bonus room, craft room, whatever you want that to be. All right, so that's the house. And then upstairs, outside, we have the backyard, garage. Big garage, nice driveway, perfect for basketball. We did paint this garage. It was kind of gnarly. And then I think it cleaned up very well in here, but it is a garage. And we left the fridge from the kitchen and the big freezer in here in case the new buyers want them. If not, you can always get rid of it. A sheet that shows we sold it for $310 on 9/23/2019. Now you can see this is less than we were hoping to sell it for, and I want to talk about something real quick here. We listed it in July for $329, had to lower the price twice before we got it sold, and we've seen this recently in our market where things just are not selling as quickly as they were in the past. Something else is July isn't too bad, but once you get into August and you list properties, our market slows down considerably because of school. Every year, if you look at our stats for days on market prices, our prices drop and properties take longer to sell in August, September, even a little bit into October. And everybody's going to school, getting settled in, and they don't want to buy a house. Before that, and then even after that, things pick up. And even in the middle of winter, things pick up as well, which is kind of crazy. A lot of people think winter you can't sell houses. That's not exactly true. A lot of times January things pick up in our market, prices start going up, and days on market goes down. So of course we decided to list like all of our houses at once in August and September. But we're getting through them. We're getting them sold. Had 18 or 19 properties at once. So it's kind of crazy. But you can see we did have to lower the price. And something else we always do is after about a month, if a house is not sold, we lower the price. We don't try and stick it out. We don't try and wait forever to get them sold. After a month, we lower the price. And usually in a healthy market, we get an offer right around 3 weeks if we're priced right. So we do wait at least about 3 weeks, maybe a month. But after that, if it's still not selling, then we'll lower the price. And that at that point, hopefully get it sold. But we still did fine. We made money on it. But of course, it would always be nice to make more money. So we'll talk about that right now. Here are the numbers for the property. So we bought it for $240. sold it for 310. Of course, the important part are what were all our other costs when doing this. A lot of people think, oh, you made 70 grand. Even our own contractors now are like, man, you're going to make so much money. You're going to make like 60 grand on this house. And they don't even think about all the carrying costs, the financing costs, everything else that goes into it. So first off, we'll start with buying and selling costs. This was bought from a wholesaler, which means I have more costs than buying it either myself. Well, no, if I bought it directly from another seller, it might be similar, but I get much better deals from the MLS cost-wise because I get a commission. I don't have to pay title insurance, all kinds of other stuff. So I had to pay title insurance, closing costs, everything on the front end of buying this property because it's from a wholesaler. So that's $1,800. Had to pay real estate commissions when we sold it, so that's about $9,300. And then I had more closing costs when we sold it, closing fees, recording fees, all kinds of other fees that are always in there. So basically, we had about $12,600 in buying and selling costs. Now, repairs. This came out to an even number somehow. But when I do these, we often get one full bid from our contractor, so it's not broken down exactly, but then I try and break it down so it's not exact. And we also have our handyman. Sometimes our hourly guys go back and do other work. So this is not exact. This is kind of our rough estimate because we don't always know exactly how many hours our handyman puts in on each house. But for cleanup, $1,500. Interior paint was not bad. $3,500. Refinishing the floors, about $2,200. Had to put new appliances in the kitchen, just a stove and dishwasher there. Exterior paint. We had to do some touch up on the house and the garage, so not a lot. And then that front deck, most of that was doing that front deck. Repainted the counters, which seems kind of pricey. Like, why not just put new counters on? But like I said, if you take the old counters off, you might destroy those cabinets and you're doing the whole kitchen. Then instead of spending $500, you're spending $5,000 or more. So that's why we did that. Light fixtures throughout, some bathroom fixtures. Those are all kind of grouped together. And then miscellaneous. This is always a big number because there's lots of little things that are done. I'm not going to list all of those out. Doing door handles, outlet covers, touching up different things, like that's all included in there. So we came up with $15,000 in repairs somehow. I'm not sure how that came out so good. Oh, like little plumbing stuff is in there too. Having the furnace cleaned, all kinds of things pop up that you don't think of. All right, carrying costs. So insurance, we held this property about 5 months, bought it in April, sold it in September. So even though it was a quick and easy flip, it still took 5 months. Now, we got it repaired and on the market pretty quick, but it took longer to sell than some of our other properties, and that's why. So I never count on properties selling super fast in completing a flip in 3 months, just because it's so rare to have everything go perfect. Either the repairs go long, or the contractors, take too long, something else holds you up, the FHA 90-day flip rule holds you up, or you can't get under contract, or it falls out. There's just so many things, so you have to expect it to take longer than you think. Property taxes on this were extremely low, $700 a year, which is crazy. So our share was about $290. Maintenance, we have to mow the lawn while we have it, so we're mowing the lawn. And then utilities, so we're watering the lawn, the heat's on, the electric's on, we're paying for sewer, all of that every month we own this property. And what you'll find in vacant houses is the utility bills can actually be higher. So there's no furniture, there's no one living there. If it's winter, it costs more to heat the house, it's because you're heating an empty house. And sometimes it costs more to cool a house, too, if you have the air conditioning, have it on. All right, financing costs. This is a sticky subject for me because I was using a hard money lender I'd never used before, and they really wanted me to use him for, oh, no, wait, I did use him one other time. It went okay. This time was not okay. It was lending one, and I tried to do 2 houses with them at the same time. The other one did not work at all. Just completely fell apart because of appraisals. So first off, they said I wouldn't have to do appraisals. Then all of a sudden they're asking me if they can do appraisals. So I was like, they're like, don't worry, we'll get them done on time. There'll be no worries. I'm like, okay, fine. So not only am I doing an appraisal, it's costing me $450 to do that appraisal. Well, both appraisals came in extremely low, like crazy low. I think they said this house was worth like $265,000 fixed up or something. It was insane after repairs. And it turns out the guy doing the appraisals was from Utah. He was licensed in Colorado. He had claimed to have a Colorado address, but when I looked it up, it was literally a P.O. box, or not a P.O. box, a UPS store in Denver was his address. So I'm guessing he's doing appraisals from Utah, having someone take pictures for him here. I don't know, but it was crazy. Tried challenging it. They couldn't challenge it, and Lending One was not much help on this at all. Why we needed an appraisal in the first part, I don't know, because they said we didn't. Then it comes in low. So basically what that meant was we financed much less money than I thought. We are going to be able to finance like $220,000 from the get-go. Well, they bumped that way down based off the appraisal, and they basically financed was $194,500 is what they're going to give me to start with. But then they took $12,000 off that until I bought it because the appraiser couldn't get into the house to see the inside before closing. Even though he had like 2 weeks to do this appraisal, they promised me nothing, he'd be able to do it. He couldn't get inside, and ironically, he never called or texted or emailed to get inside of the house either. So it was just a mess. So they held back $12,000. Finally, the appraiser got in, or said he got in. I never got pictures or anything. And they gave me $12,000 later. So we ended up getting like $182 at closing. Then they gave me $12,000 later on. And so this is my loan. I had $15,000 for construction costs as well, but I never used them. And they don't charge you interest on those if you don't use them, which is good. But basically with hard money, you can finance some of it up front, and they'll give you more money for construction costs once you finish, parts of the rehab, and you do draws. So you have to finish the work, have someone come out and inspect it, pay them to inspect it, then they'll give you more of that money back. So I didn't need the money. I didn't want to pay interest or draws on it, so I just didn't even take it. I just left the original loan amount. Now, points, one reason why I used a hard money lender was because they had lower points. So 1.25, I usually pay 2 with my private money guys, but then they've got doc fee, processing fee, appraisal, all those costs I wouldn't have to pay with my normal guys. So technically I think it's still cheaper, but you've got to watch out with hard money. They'll throw a lot of fees at you. I've seen others with even more fees, crazy fees going on, so be careful there. And interest, a loan interest was like 8%, so low interest rate, that was good, $6,600. So overall we spent $10,360 on the loan, which is cheaper than I normally pay. So even though it was a crazy headache getting this done, it may have been worth it. However, I'm not using this lender again. So not only did they have issues with the appraiser and working with me, they got in a fight with the wholesaler who I was buying the house from. They literally were yelling at each other about closing and getting documents to them, and the wholesaler, who I've worked with on many dealers, texted me and said, you need to talk to your lender because I'm about to cancel this deal if he does not stop being so rude. And then the lender sent me an email basically saying the same thing about the wholesaler. So I'm like, okay, I've never had a problem with this wholesaler before, never had a problem communicating with them. They've always been kind, and this guy, I think, was just causing some major problems, and I've kind of heard some other things about that as well from Lending One. So I have I'm using Lending Home now. If you guys want to get in touch with them, I'll have a link below. But they have done, I think, even lower fees and costs, and I refinanced one of my flips with them, and they're so much easier to work with so far. No appraisal either. They did not need an appraisal. So that's kind of a spiel, long, tangent on hard money lenders, but it's important to know this stuff. All right, finally, we get to the total cost. You probably have read this for like 10 minutes already, but financing $10,360, carrying costs $2,890, repairs $15,000, selling $12,600. Total, we got $40,850 into the property. Here, if anybody's OCD is bothering them, I'll move that over a little bit. There you go. And down here, total profit. Sold it for $310. I would have loved to sell it for more, but hey, you got to sell houses. You can't just hold on to them. $40,850 in costs. So kind of what we got back was $269,150, and then we bought it for $240. So we ended up making about $29,000 on this flip. So for the work we did, the time it took, I would do these all day long. Love these simple and easy ones. Love buying from wholesalers, except for the extra cost, but it makes our life so much easier. We're not finding deals, and love to keep doing this. I think we bought 11 houses from wholesalers this year, which is kind of crazy. All right, so that's the video. Again, leave comments. If I messed up anywhere, let me know. We appreciate the subscriptions, the likes, and I try to respond to everybody too. And of course, check out our book, Fix and Flip Your Way to Financial Freedom, to learn how to actually do all this stuff, not just watch it. And I also have another book, 101 House Flipping Tips, which is kind of smaller, but very easy to read, very quick. And those are all on Amazon. All right, we'll be back with more videos soon.